raw horniness, to be honest, to start.
Sexual energy.
Yeah, well,
combined.
me and Ev started dating first. So it was one of them vibes, and then we had a bit of chemistry in the bedroom, and we kind of just carried that through to the music, and then that's how it works.
We were dating at the time, and
They needed the fluff.
No, yes. So we started together, and I think like 5 or 6 years before, I'd met Saul, bassist, because you were like living in a rehearsal room below a studio I was recording in, because he's like the real deal. And he was like washing his dishes in the room, and we saw him in the studio, and we were like, wow, this guy's really cool. And then I told Ev about him and said, like, if this guy's still alive in 6 years later, if we can find this guy, he'd be the guy for Clean Cut Kid. And
funnily enough, he didn't even play bass. We were just like, he's just the right person.
Yeah, he was a guitarist. There was nothing that qualified him for the job except the smile. And so we were like, cool. And then we
wasn't it a cup of tea in a pot noodle cup or something? I don't remember that, but I've heard.
It was a cup of tea in a pot noodle cup, yeah. And then we washed out, obviously, but it was chicken and mushroom. And then we were just walking to go and get some food at like 2 a.m, and Saul was just stood in the centre of town busking, and I was just like, that's the guy. And his hair was a bit long, and he was still alive.
Always helps.
And then we just recruited him there, and then we were like, should we get in and start practicing tomorrow? And he was just in with us the next day.
And no, he was like, yeah, I'll be done by 4, and we thought he meant 4 the next day, and he actually meant like 4
he wanted to rehearse at 4 a.m.
Like, let's go, guys.
But yeah, we were in doing that straight away, and then we just started nailing it as a 3, the music. And then
very, very sultry conversation.
Yeah, sorry. It's one of those. It's not tense. We didn't even sleep in the tent last night. But yeah.
So aroused.
And then Ross, just geeky, obsessive music, like nerds. So we were just on the train talking, and because we were working in a similar, they were doing like a workshop thing, teaching in a workshop, and Ross just knew all of the geeky, like West Coast like bands that I was talking about, and I was like, wow, this guy could be the guy, and he was the guy. Well, my writing at the time, my writing's always been like, it's quite poppy, but it's always kind of had like folky sort of roots, and so we wanted to go away from that with arrangement. So we were kind of like looking at people who we were always into artists who kind of arranged away from the way that they wrote, which is why I think we get Vampire Weekend quite a lot, because those guys kind of, the way they textually like put their music together isn't always like synonymous with the type of songs that they write, and that's similar. But we all,
Peter Gabriel,
massive is a big one. Yeah, Paul Simon, in the kind of way that we arrange rhythms, I think. Just a mixture of old stuff and new stuff
too, as well, in terms of like.
Yeah, like we wanted to try and get that in somehow, kind of work that like barrage of rhythm, that Quincy Jones vibe into our everybody. It's a bit of a melting pot, really. It's got, I think it's like, well, to me, it's just every single family in Liverpool there's every other person plays guitar. Every family is just completely like music obsessed. It's either music or football. There's no like, there's 2 things in Liverpool that people are passionate about. So, and then there's the fact that living there and creating music there, it's just a perfect melting pot of.
It's just so easy as well. Like it's an amazing city, but it's small. You don't feel swamped by it, and also like at the moment, especially, there's not. I wouldn't say there's like a specific Liverpool sound. I just think there's a load of good bands coming out of it with loads of different styles, and Liverpool are just so supportive as a city that everyone feels like okay to just do their own thing. So there's this really nice feeling of you just, whatever kind of music you make, you just fit, and so it kind of gives us the chance to not worry about, trying to like stick with like the trend of what the city sounds like, and just kind of sound like whatever.
I think anywhere that's nice. Like so many separate creative people in one little pot almost, the standard seems to drive up, and before you know it, like you're sat in like a coffee shop and there's like a graphic designer there and like muso there and an actor there, and it's just full of creative people. And what ends up happening is like everybody just ends up shocking you creatively. Like every single new thing you come out, you're just like, wow, it seems to have gone so far down the line creatively that you're just like, how did these people even arrive there? And I think that's part of the magic of the city. It always has been like. I don't know if we can say, probably say. There's one called Lion Bastards.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And they're our favourites at the moment.
Lumen, this like 17-year-old kid who's just like incredible. incredible. I think he's gonna go far.
Yeah, the Brill Society.
Yeah.
Brill
they're doing
Society. There's
like
another
a psych band.
There's another guy called, I think it's called TVAM, and he's this. You've heard of him? Oh my gosh,
and
so
he uses
cool.
like analog, he uses like TVs and analog AV stuff with
Oh my
his.
god.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're at a gig and you just get completely caught by this, like, by the performance, and you just can't stop looking. Well, he played at this like award ceremony that we did a couple of weeks ago, called the Git Awards in Liverpool, and he was just like, out of all of them, just the one act that I just couldn't stop watching because it was just so cool. And he just didn't even, he wasn't trying at all. It was just like, that's what was just him.
Yeah.
And like the TV as well that he was playing with, he just made it work so well. It was class. Cool. It was good. Who else at the moment? There's a band called Feral Love. They're pretty cool.
For like electronic kind of
they're
thing.
really good. They've had quite a few plays on like specialist shows on Radio 1 as well. So.
But just out of those bands we named, there's like Feral Love, like electronic, and then Lion Bastards are kind of like an even more fuzzy, even rougher version of what we do, like less poppy.
Like Black Keys almost.
Like Black Keysy, and they're like it's just a mad mix now. But yeah, it's cool. It seemed like, I mean, when we were putting the band together, like after, I don't know, when did we, 2 years ago, when we were like first starting to get this going, it seemed pretty stagnant, to be honest, and it was like only people on different levels of like touring scenes were kind of bringing any into Liverpool. But I think since we've been going, we find it's kind of quite buoyant now.
Yeah,
it seems
it's really like exploded in the last year, especially.
Yeah.
So nice though. It's so exciting to be part of it.
Yeah, it feels like industry are there a bit more, and it's like, yeah, it's a bit strange for us because like we're one of those people. We're like one of those bunch of people. I think like Circa Waves or Dan Kroll, where we were based in Liverpool and we were in Liverpool when we signed, and we're still there now. But like all of our stuff's kind of been a national thing. So it's a bit strange because like we kind of had to come home to Liverpool and then win over all the Liverpool fans and press later on. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird arc to do, but I think it's working now, and we've finally been accepted into that cliquey Liverpool thing, and it's nice.
I don't know what we would have done without it, honestly, because we just didn't have the funds, and we were like working our asses off to just like live. But in order to get the band together, we had to spend so much time doing that for free that there was just no way we could have afforded to like go in and do that. And it was just like being associated with it as well, and like just all that support and the press and everything like that. It was, I don't know what we would have done. The first 2 singles we released were recorded with that funding.
I actually think like, I don't know, I just can't see how anybody, I mean, we had a fairly quick, you know, we signed on our second gig and signed our publishing on our second gig, and we had a fairly quick like arc from being nobody knowing us to kind of being where we are now. But I just can't see how it happened without like BBC introducing and without you guys. I just don't know how anybody would have kind of the wings to be able to do it now. So I think it's almost the most important thing at the moment. The record, it's maybe like 80% recorded. We've got like one more single to record and a few little pieces of the record to fill in. And we've got just on the horizon now, I think 4th of July is the date of this single. We've got a new our big single, which we're really excited about, is coming really soon, and that's got an EP tied to it, which is not to do with the record. So a load more material over the next 4 or 5 months is going to be pouring out from us. So dead exciting. I think album early next year probably.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think we're the kind of band, like I said, when you're trying to make the arrangements challenging and musical, you're the kind of band that wants to have that whole picture. And I think we don't need it, but I think the record's going to be very important for us being able to show the whole picture of who the band are. My big one is from our experience of how we got to where we are now. Like is sit on it until it's right.
Yeah.
Like it's like, don't grab hold of the first thing that you. I mean, we just self-developed. I spent 10 years writing and 10 years like playing session guitar and stuff, and we were all doing music separately and all playing together. And for me as the writer, the whole thing about this project was just it was like 18 months of just, even after we recorded Vitamin C and Runaway, we just sat on it for 18 months until the band was right, the writing was right, the arrangements were right, the vision for the whole project was right. So yeah, my big thing is just like get it right before you leak it out.
Because it's very rare, like these days, I think, for labels or like even like the public to sort of give you that chance to develop in the public eye.
Yeah.
So like it just doesn't really happen anymore. So from what we've seen, we've just seen like things get picked up when they're just completely ready to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we usually say. Yeah. Just like wait until something's ready before, because you're doing yourself a disservice if you're putting stuff out that's not the best that you can do, or your band isn't rehearsed to the best of its like you can do.